We think it's time you tried Hill of Beans Decaf, because coffee without the caffeine
is like sex without the costumes. And remember, Happy Time Pure Sucrose breakfast cereal gives you that
large tumor-like growth on the wall of your stomach, but for cleaner, brighter, fluffier sheets. Tonight's episode, The Clan. Have you ever seen anything so white?
Wow! Do I have to sit here all day looking for something to watch? Nope, yeah, no way, negatory, not, never, nope, Cannel, are you kidding, forget it, Botchko, nope, no thanks, Miller Boy, yet, nope, no chance, nada! Where are the quality shows? The shows that stimulate your mind, that enrich the human condition.
Man, oh man, what can you say about Duckman?
It's very hard to choose the most despicable thing about this guy.
He's self-important, he's self-indulgent, a bad family man, a horrible provider.
Raunchy, rude, he's got all these hang-ups and sexual issues.
Complete womanizer.
A backstabber.
Just not bright.
He's a horrible dad.
He's smelly.
He would park in handicapped spaces.
Disgusting.
A liar.
Rude, crude, lewd.
He's corrupt. He's dishonest. He's consummately selfish.
How can one person be so oblivious, insensitive, hateful, tactless, boorish, and ill-tempered to everyone he meets?
It's a gift.
One of my favorite animated shows ever. It chronicles the exploits of a private detective who would rather detect privates than solve any actual cases.
I look at breasts. Yeah, and I'm a detective, but mainly the breasts.
A morally bankrupt waterfowl with an excess of interesting characters in his life. A jack-of-all-trades partner, a bitchy busybody sister-in-law with an obsession with physical fitness, 3 oddities for sons, and a comatose mother-in-law. And of course you can't forget about...
Fluffy! Uranus!
What can we do for you, Mr. Duckman?
An impersonation.
Of what?
Drowning victims.
Fluffy, the pink one, and Uranus, 2 overly cute, overly PC, overly annoying animated teddy bears. I assume influenced by the Care Bears, these guys represent what I call the pussification of society. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm all for respecting other people and their beliefs, but these 2 embody the belief that the only way we can do that is if we abandon our own identities to conform to the ultimate socially approved one.
We made you a bran muffin and a mug of steaming liquid grit. Be good to your bowels and they'll be good to you. We also called your doctor to tell him we think you've been a naughty detective. You've been smoking again. And he said, quote, keep it up and his heart will burst and splatter all over the inside of his tar-filled lungs, end quote. So we set traps in all your cigarette packages.
Not much is known about where they came from or what created them, but it's always been a series mystery whether or not they were male or female. Well, allow me to settle that with this clip.
Get off of her, you neutered muffheads!
Oh, Duckman, they're so cute.
And we're not really neutered.
Quit your groveling.
We can also assume that they're related. And despite being the only ones of their kind featured on the show, they apparently breed in horrifyingly large numbers.
And here's Grandpa Erecto. He fathered 33 children until Grandma laced his cereal with fabric softener.
Anyway, there's often a part of an episode where Fluffy and Uranus give a gooey, idealistic, politically correct diatribe, only to be horribly assaulted by Duckman. But apparently they really don't mind, and are somehow able to regenerate.
That's the good thing about being stuffed. We're very resilient. That Mr. Duckman.
Since this was always one of the highlights of the show, I thought we'd take a look at the best of Duckman's damage dealings in what I like to call the top 11 Fluffy and Uranus Eviscerations.
Mr. Duckman, why'd you eviscerate us with a hot curling iron?
It's Tuesday.
Love American style, truer than the red, white, and blue. Love American style, that's me and you. And on a star-spangled night, my love, come to me. You can rest your...
Number 11.
Okay, Mr. Duckman, but may I say I don't think you should just dismiss the notions of miracles. It's a miracle every time a new leaf grows, every time a newborn baby cries.
Every time you shut up and do what I tell you.
Oh, the legs. The legs. And forgive me for being a little bit douchey McNitpick, but I like the following sequence of gags, where Uranus all of a sudden turns into Fluffy. Talk about your miracles. It's a good setup, gag, and gaff. What more could you want? How about number 10? As you can imagine, all that exposure to Duckman must be stressful, and sometimes you just want to get away.
We've worked 11 years without a vacation.
11 long years. Oh, my heavens. Do allow me to apologize for this unthinkable oversight by offering you an all-expense-paid trip to one of the world's most popular hotspots.
I love how his eyes go out of focus during the build-up. I don't know if that was done on purpose or not, but it adds to the moment by telling you that something crazy is about to happen. Number 9. When Cornfed temporarily quits being Duckman's partner, he relies on Fluffy and Uranus to help him solve a murder case.
You want our help on a case?
Let's start with a couple of questions. Not that I don't already know the answers, I do. I just want to, see how you're thinking. Suppose you're the chairman of a large...
Chairperson.
Suppose you're the chairperson of a large corporation that makes meat on a stick.
Oh, Mr. Duckman, we couldn't support the killing of animals for food, nor the senseless slaughter of trees for sticks.
Okay. You're the chairpeople of a large, environmentally friendly corporation that produces wholesome apples. Now, you're supposed to prove that someone died of natural causes. What would you do?
Are the apples free range, or are they grown in captivity?
I know the payoff might be a little tame compared to the others, but this features one of the greatest builds-up in the history of the show. It's so full of over-the-top PC, all of which are superficial to the actual problem. So by the end, you're just begging to see the two get torn apart. Number 8. An operation on his adrenal gland, yeah they have those, gives Duckman a new lease on life by kicking him into overdrive, allowing him to get more done faster and better.
I'm here. What do you got for me? Things, stuff, more things and stuff?
Mr. Duckman!
Save it! You both just say something disgustingly cute, cuddly, and politically correct, then I'll get PO'd and commit an unthinkably brutal act. Let's cut to the chase.
A preemptive strike, truly a series ahead of its time. Number 7.
Why wait for the party for the games to begin? Bombing for apples, anyone?
Duckman, by all that is holy, please tell me those apples were broken hypodermic needle free.
Some questions are better left unanswered, Corn Muffin. Now then, where were we? Ah, yes, the celebration of all that is Duckman.
Get it? It's funny because we don't really see what's happening to them. But for some reason, none of that seems as bad as biting into apples filled with needles. The shock alone would make you gasp and fill your lungs with water. But if there's anything worse than choking, it's choking while having all this happen to you. Number 6. Shakespeare's Hamlet with the cast of Duckman set in modern times? What's not to like?
I could kill him now while he's got his hand in Bernice's...
Hello, Mr. Duckman! Mr. Chicken asked us to ask you if you were really crazy or just faking. But he wants us to ask in a way so you don't know what we're doing or that he asked us to do it. Can we rephrase that?
No need. After all, would a crazy man do this?
Ah! You're killing those little bears!
Oh, no. It's Fluffy and Uranus. They love it.
Oh yeah, you're probably wondering who that is. In the 4th and final season, they introduced Beverly, the missing sister of Duckman's sister-in-law, Bernice, and deceased wife, Beatrice. She's less shrewd and gentler than Bernice. Basically an opportunity for Duckman to redeem himself in the eyes of a new character. Let's see how he's doing.
But there are people who are cruel. People who kill people's fathers, which I am against. And then have sex with their sister-in-law, which I'd kind of admire if it didn't involve Bernice. What a piece of crap is man. Just thinking about him makes you want to puke your guts out.
Okay, first of all, ouch. I mean, have you ever fried an egg and had some of the hot grease smack you in the arm or cornea? Well, imagine that all over your body. Plus, after 4 seasons of mutilation, you gotta expect to become a little desensitized to that sort of thing. It's nice to have a new outside perspective to remind us just how messed up this all is.
I'm getting out of here! You're crazy!
Number 5. With a speed and coordination that is unseen in our society today, the entire city participates in an evacuation drill. However, the ever-oblivious Duckman is unaware of this and thinks he's the last person alive, a la Omega Man. With the city to himself, he goes on a path of self-indulgent mass destruction.
That's for revoking my license. That's for making women expect an orgasm every damn time. That's for sucking.
His actions inadvertently producing a gauntlet of obstacles all the people stuck below him need to avoid.
Hand grenade, hand grenade, hand grenade, hand grenade. Tuxedo!
Lack of oxygen to the brain can sometimes cause a reversal of the usual thinking patterns. Hey, Bernice, is that your rear end, or did a couple of Galapagos turtles die in your pants?
Gotta love instant karma. Number 4. After ingesting a series of chemicals, Duckman starts to grow larger whenever he's irritated. Chaos and comedy ensues.
Hello, kids. You haven't offended me yet today, but let's go ahead and assume you will. Ah, much better. Those caraway seeds have been there a month.
This is my personal favorite because it's the best animated one. The movements are so fluid, but aside from being a great gag, it doesn't make it above 2 or 1 because it repeated the preemptive setup found in an earlier joke. Still, it's pretty good. Number 3.
Mr. Duckman?
I'm taking a vacation. Where's my bathing suit with the padded bulge?
It should be in here, right next to your foam rubber pectoral enhancer.
This lemonade tastes terrible.
We were worried you were eating too much sugar, so we substituted finely ground chalk.
Chalk?
Studies show most adults are chalk deficient, and it's organic.
Oh, you like organic? Well, there's nothing more organic than a real live body. Grilled to perfection.
Number 2. Duckman and Cornfed are looking for a local college student to intern for them. They end up coming across Elliot, played by Chris Elliott. At first he seems like a perfectly good doormat, but as you watch him, things start getting creepy.
Well, let's just see who's laughing now, shall we? Let's just see who's laughing now.
Anyway, the other single white meat here comes up with a rather bold suggestion.
Duckman!
What to do? What to do? Yesterday I used you as a living dartboard. The day before I tossed you in the trash compactor.
Perhaps I would make one teensy-weensy, bite-sized suggestion.
Elliot, you're a man-child after my own heart. They think I've tortured them before. Wait till they experience the horrors of my digestive system. Enjoy the ride, kids!
And you know what? This is actually an episode-long gag, because after a while...
Your candy, sire.
Oh, can't. No more room.
Ah, but you're forgetting.
That's right! Fluffy and Uranus! Can't wait to see the look on their faces.
Then later still...
Fluffy, Uranus, where's Duckman?
Please don't eat us! Please don't eat us! Please don't eat us!
Oh man, you gotta love that. They were eaten, pooped out, and left with permanent metal scars. Now that's entertainment.
What are you people still doing here?
And number 1...
Lunch.
Lunch. A break from the hustle and bustle of everyday life to nourish the body. But as you can guess, even lunch isn't normal at the Duckman office.
Do all of them squeal?
Would anyone care for a glass of freshly made lemonade?
told you, two dust mites. Juice pitcher on the left side of the fridge, specimen pitcher on the right.
Mr. Duckman, that was all natural lemonade, made exclusively from lemons that died of natural causes. We waited until these lemons were in the advanced stages of decomposition before using them.
All right, cameo's over. You know, maybe this would taste better. On the rocks! Oh, yes. Ice is nice. But steam is keen.
But we're not done yet. Oddly enough, this is the one time that destroying Fluffy and Uranus gets him in trouble.
Officer, please! Kill Fluffy and Uranus? Why, I'm shocked. Shocked that you'd think I'd harm a hair on their little chinny chin-chins. Oops.
So naturally, he's mistakenly sent to a female prison, and, well, it's pretty much by the numbers from then. Yada yada, veiled sexual exploitation, mass corruption, gender confusion, prison riot, basic 3-camera stuff. Anyway, at the end of the show, Fluffy and Uranus pop up one more time.
Mr. Duckman! Mr. Duckman! We're reconstituted again and all is forgiven!
Yes, sirree! This'll come in real handy.
So for being the only Fluffy and Uranus evisceration to actually contribute to the story, as well as somehow proving that these guys can reform from literally thin air, this one goes to the top of the list.
Being free, you no longer have to keep wearing that dress.
You know, you're absolutely right.
And there's the list. Now you're probably wondering, why is it so entertaining to see these guys get mangled? I mean, when you really think about it, Duckman and them are two sides of the same coin. So why would we cheer for Duckman's depravity over F&U's moral uprightness? Well, like I said, these two represent the pussification of society. And the act of destroying them is not necessarily a disownment from the ideas that we need to treat each other with respect and take care of ourselves in the environment we live in, but rather the idea that we need to hear about it 24/7.
The funny thing about Fluffy and Uranus, though, was that we wrote them in such a way that you kind of wanted to see them get blenderized and ostracized. Just, you know, it was kind of in the design of the characters.
But despite whatever your personal moral beliefs are, I can think we all agree that we often look to entertainment as an escape from the normal. And stripping that away and replacing it with overly politically correct sentiment doesn't help us.
And it's precisely when humor is offensive that we need it most. Comedy should provoke. It should blast through prejudices, challenge preconceptions. Comedy should always leave you different than when it found you.
And it's not like Duckman is a totally heartless heathen. He has his warm and tender moments too. In fact, those moments are more poignant because you know he doesn't say anything unless he really means it. And if an issue is really important, it should be handled in a caring way by characters we care about, who show they can rise above their baser instincts, no matter how prevalent they may be, to reach out and make the world a better place. Hiding behind the guise of hyper-inflated mush is not only annoying, it's dishonest. And sometimes, you have to be a tiny bit crass and cruel in order to survive.
You have to treat people with respect, Mr. Duckman, whether it's what you say to them or how you act in their house.
Look, these eggs need a little ketchup. Is there anything else?
As a matter of fact, there is. Get the out of here, Mr. Duckman. You deaf, Mr. Cool? Get the out of here before we tear your off and shove them up your ass. Ooh, that felt pretty good.
Dad, if your life was a TV series, then this would have been one of those shows full of clips and highlights.
Which is a cheesy ploy foisted upon the viewing public to save money by doing less original production.
Charles, Mambo, that would be despicable. What kind of cynical anything for a buck sleazoids would have me kidnapped and tortured for the sake of a cheap, tired, creatively bankrupt clip show? What the hell are you staring at?